Hi everyone, welcome to my August free Facebook virtual card class for orders placed with me in the month of July. I am so glad you are here with me today. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025, and I'm so happy to be with you, even though I'm coming on at 1 o'clock instead of my original 11 o'clock a.m. slot. Sorry about that and for that change. Sometimes life just plain gets away from me, and that happened today. But I am here now. I'm going to double check that I'm in the right place, and I am, so that is awesome. Excuse me. Hi, Penny. Glad you're here. My name is Maureen Rolfus, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. I have been an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator for over 28 years, and I love what I do. If you are hopping on, please say hi and let me know that you're here. And if you watch on the replay, please let me know that. Also, I am coming to you from a hot and humid Murfreesboro, Tennessee, here in the United States, and I can't wait for cooler weather, let me tell you. Anyway, this class is a special thank you to my customers for placing qualifying orders in the month of July. Everyone is welcome to join me for this class today and see the card designs and what we're making. Hello, Maureen, just check the horse's water. Oh, hot and humid there too. Yeah, I'm done with hot and humid. How about you, Karen? I'm ready for some cool weather. Anyway, you're welcome to watch, see the cute projects we made. You can duplicate them with what you might have had on hand. If you ordered a qualifying order from me in the month of July, then you should have received your kit in the mail already. And if for some reason you think you should have had a kit and didn't receive it, always let me know. I will double check and get that out to you if I am not correct on that. This video will remain here in the video media section of my page for 30 days, and then Facebook will delete it, but I will also try to upload it to YouTube before that date. I will do my very best. All right, also please feel free to share this video. If you do that, that gets me exposure I wouldn't otherwise have, and I really, really appreciate it. Again, this is a free class on my public Facebook page, on my public YouTube, so it's open for anyone to watch. So I appreciate you sharing me. Okay, let's get down to the table. We're going to just get going here, guys. On my free class, I don't do a lot of the extra foo-foo, talking about all the specials and stuff. If you want to see those, watch any of my other videos throughout the week, and you will see what is going on in the world of Stampin' Up! So here is the recipe for our first card. Just going to put that out there. I have a recipe for each and every card that I'm making today. I will post these recipes and the samples in the comments spot of this Facebook Live. And I will also put them out with the cards after I complete each one in case you want to take a screenshot of it. So just be aware of that. So here is card number 1 in the kit. Super simple, but I love it. I love everything about it. Big smiles, just a general note card you could send to anyone, or you could add happy birthday on the inside, and then that would be great too. But we're just doing the big smiles part. So in your kit, you would have received your envelope, regular A2 base of Pool Party, an insert of basic white that's 3.5 by 5 inches, another piece of basic white that is 1 inch by 2 inch that we're going to put our sentiment on, a flagged piece of the Designer Series DSP, a fussy cut lobster. Now the lobsters vary in color. They can be orange, they can be pink, they can be orange and pink. There might even have been another color. So what you got may vary, but you got a lobster. And a 2-inch circle piece of Designer Series paper, as well as some little gems. So the gems we're using are retired, but you might have them in stock for your stash. They are the Earth Tone Shimmer Gems, and I love them. I love because they're neutral. I love the white ones, the vanilla ones, the brown ones. They're just great colors. So this is what you should have received in your kit. And then the sentiment we're using, the big smiles, comes from the Storybook Life stamp set. Now this stamp set is currently on the last chance list. It was $20. It is now $16. I love this. I love the big sentiments. They make me happy. They take up most of a card. They're just fun for things. The Easter blessings sentiment is beautiful. The big smiles we're using today, special moments, hello spring, sunny days. These are part of our memory keeping section, but I use them for card making mostly. I just think that's great. So catch that on the last chance list if you're interested, because it is only there while supplies last. And we're going to use a Melon Mambo stamp pad. So let's do our stamping right up front. I'm going to stamp my envelope with the big smiles. Hope you're having a great day. My day got a little away from me. I had I have a super bad back right now. It's part of coming home from this trip and all the traveling I know. And my chiropractor's been off for the last 5 days. So I'm going to see him again. I think he's back Wednesday. Anyway, last night I got very little sleep. I just hurt so bad. And yeah, so I ended up oversleeping this morning after I went back to take a nap. That's why I wasn't on. So sorry. No other excuse. Just sleep. I needed sleep. I'm going to stamp this big smiles also onto my piece of basic white scrap. Now you can use any sentiment you want because you know I can't stamp your sentiments for you, but pretty much anything would go with this. I'm stamping it pretty evenly on the little piece of cardstock, but I am going to close this before I stick my finger in it. I am going to take my snips and flag the right end of this. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't. It doesn't have to be. It can just be the rectangle. But I'm going to go right down the middle, just a little ways in, and then come in from each side on here to that center point to create a little flagged image on there. And I just like that look. So that kind of goes with the banner I pre-flagged for you. And that's going to go together like that. So let's put our card together. The first thing I'm going to do is just add my piece of basic white to the inside of my card. And I'm just using seal in the corners to do that. That holds it down perfectly well. And you don't have to waste a lot of adhesive. And this is going to be centered. These are the center layers that I make now for my cards because I can get 5 of them out of one piece of basic white. And I think they work great. They're a little bit taller than they are wide, but I don't think anyone notices at all. The card's a little bit taller than it is wide, so that all works out. So that's on the inside. Then we're going to lay down our pieces for our card. So I'm going to take my big smiles, or whatever your sentiment happens to be that you have. And I'm going to come down here and about halfway down and almost over to the right side, I'm going to stick this down. Now it doesn't have to be perfectly placed there. You can place it wherever you want. It just seemed to work for this layout. And then I'm going to take my next piece here, the flagged piece of Designer Series paper, and add some seal to the back of that. And we're going to come in and add that. And I'm going to put it so it just comes a little below my big smiles sentiment here and just slightly onto that piece that I stamped the sentiment on, just like that, layered over it. All right, next thing we're going to do is add our lobster to the front of our circle. And pretty much I'm going to just start at the bottom of his head here and then go for about 1 inch and add some seal to that section. You can lay it out and see where it's going to land on yours. You can have your pattern paper going horizontal. You can have it going vertical. I'm going to have it going at a bit of an angle. And I'm just going to come in here and lay my lobster on there so that his tail is sticking off, his very little tail here. and then just above his head. So the middle of his body is the part that's hitting onto that piece of designer series paper. And then we're going to place this onto our card. So let me grab some dimensionals here. I know I have some somewhere. Huh, maybe I don't. I might have used up my sheet. I have another one. Let me grab one back here. Oh, these are minis. I don't want minis. Let's see if I have a regular. Should have checked that before I came on. Right here, I have a brand new sheet of dimensionals. So let's grab some of these, and I'm just going to add 3 of them. Doesn't really matter on this one where you add them. If you feel like you need to put one behind the lobster's tail, you could do that too. I'm not going to do that. I think he'll be fine without. So I'm just going to do those 3. Then we're going to flip this over, and then I'm going to place him. I want to make sure that as I place him, his top claw doesn't go over the top of the page, and that the circle and the tail aren't covering my sentiment. So those are the things I'm after and watching for on there. Look how cute that is, that little cute ocean collage right there. It would bring big smiles, I think, to just about anyone. And then we're going to add our gems. So I have 1 large and 2 small. So I'm going to add, you might have 2 large and 1 small. Sometimes it varies kit to kit. So I'm going to change this up a little bit from my prototype. Because this is a little bit higher on my card and over. I'm just going to add the 1 large up here. And then I'm going to take my 2 smaller ones, if I can get them off, and add those down here. So there's more than one way you can do this, guys. You're just trying to form kind of a visual triangle with your gems when you're placing them on your card. Visually, that's very appealing. On this one, it's also a triangle, but it goes the other direction. And that's it, guys. That's our card. How fast and easy. So let me bring this back out. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. And then remember, I will also post this later on in the comments here so that you can see. And I'm grabbing my Melon Mambo pad back because we're going to use that later on another project. Okay, guys, card 1, fun and done. Card number 2 is right here. This is a fun fold gatefold card. So when you open it up, you're going to have your sentiment in the middle, and then it closes back up like that. In your card kit, you are going to have a lot of different little pieces. So be careful when you're dumping them out. You're going to have a basic white envelope, a base of basic white, and this base is 5.5 by 8.5, and then it is scored at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. And when it closes, they should meet in the middle. Now mine overlap just a tiny bit, which happens a lot just through the scoring process. So all I'm going to say is if yours overlap, make sure that the right flap over here goes down first and then the left one over it. That way when we open it, this is the top flap that we want. So I hope that makes sense, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. You have a piece of Darling Duckling 2-tone cardstock. So on this you have the choice of which side you use, either the darker side or the lighter side. They're very similar, and whichever one you use is going to work. That's not a problem. You're going to have 2 pieces of Timid Tiger 2-tone cardstock, and same thing. You can use the lighter side or the darker side, whichever one you like better. Our two-tone cardstock is a little bit lighter weight, so I'm finding I'm using it more and more for the layers on my card. It's still plenty sturdy to be the flap on this card, but it's lighter than the regular cardstock and goes through the mail a little bit easier. So I am in love with the new 2-tone cardstock. You also have in your kit a piece of Memories and More card. I don't want to lose my little gems here, so I'm being extra careful. That looks like this. Now this piece was half of a full Memories and More card. So if I pull one of these out, And I'll tell you a little bit more about these in a second. But there was a whole bunch of different designs in here, and all I did was cut them in half so that I had twice as many of this layer, which is what I wanted for my card. Memories and More cards come in 6-inch by 4-inch layers, and then they come in smaller in the packets, 3-inch by 4-inch layers. So it's basically just a half a layer, which is very cool. You get a ton of them in a packet. This packet was called the Celebration Expressions, and it's currently on the last chance out there for $8.50. Tons of fun for birthdays. So all I did again was cut one of the big ones with this design in half to get those. And then everyone should have a fussy cut banner. I use these little banner cards, and there's 3 different designs on them. So your fussy cut might be the triangles, it might be the little banner images, or it might be kind of these pointed images. All of them will work fine, but yours might vary just a little bit depending upon which one you got. So the sentiment we're going to use on this card comes from the Choose Happy set, which is such a fun set, and I'm using it all the time, I'm finding, for cards that I'm making. So this is current and available. And out of that set, I took out the happy and the birthday stamps, laid them onto a block, made sure they were straight, and I actually stamped them onto a scrap paper to make sure they were straight. And then I can stamp it just once by using them together. So I'm going to do that as my first thing. I'm going to open up my little trifold card here. We're going to take Balmy Blue. Any happy birthday you have would work for this, and I'm sure everyone has a happy birthday in their stash. So we're going to place this kind of right in the middle here, just like that. There's our happy birthday. Stamp whatever you like on the inside of your card. And then the next thing we're going to do is add our Timid Tiger layers. On this one, I used the light Timid Tiger because I thought it matched the little banners a little bit easier or a little bit better. But on this one, I'm going to use the dark just to see a different contrast on it. I'm just going to take, these are exactly the same size, these 2 pieces. They're each 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So you don't have to worry about which one goes where. And you're just going to center those on to those 2 fold-in sections, the one from the left and the one from the right. The one thing you do want to think about is when you're adding them that you're putting the same color of the 2-tone cardstock out, just so that they match. And then I try to line up the bottom of the second one I lay with the bottom of the first one, just so they look like they're even, and then lay it down. So there's my 2 layers on my flap, just like that. Next, we're going to take our little piece of the Memories and More kit. Now, Memories and More kits are made for scrapbooking, but they're great for card making. I use them all the time for card making, and that is what I am doing here. We're just going to come and put some seal on the back of here, and then center this onto the Darling Duckling. And again, on this card, I use the lighter, but on the one I'm doing today, I'm going to use the darker. I don't know which one I'm going to like better, but I think they'll both be just fine. Center this onto there, just like that. And then I'm going to add this to my card base before I do any more. It's just easier to work with before anything else is on there. And when I do this, again, I'm going to make sure my left flap by my left hand comes down first, and then my right one. I'm going to take this and turn it over. So I'm flipping it so from top to bottom, just like that, and centering it onto my card. And then I'm going to take my seal and just add my seal to this side of the flap, because I only want it stuck down on the one side. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to flip it back over, same thing, and center it again. And that should keep all of the glue on the left hand side and none of it on the right hand side. So now when I open it, you can see there's no glue showing. It's not going to stick to that other part of the base. So it's just a cute little centerfold card that we're making here. Then we're going to add our banners. Now you have, like I said, the 3 different banners, and they're all cut slightly different. Some of them might have a little bit more of a sharp edge on one end or the other. It's not going to matter, guys. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're just going to lay this banner going across on your card. So you could do it this angle. You could do it this angle. You can have it coming out onto the Darling Duckling, or you could have it start right on your card. Anything you do with it is going to be fine, so you choose. I'm just going to take seal and lay it right around along there. And pop out any of the little pieces that are showing with my thumbnail here. You could do your tips of your scissors if there's any seal that is sticking out between. And then I'm going to come in here. Let's see how I want to lay this. I think I'm going to do this one at a different angle just for some character. So we're going to come this direction on that banner, just like that. And then you should have 3 little gems. These gems are our iridescent adhesive back discs. They were an online exclusive and now they are retired, but they're tons of fun for birthday cards. They're kind of confetti looking, and they'd be great for a New Year's Eve card, a wedding card, a congratulations, just lots of fun. There's tons of great colors, the greens, the opalescent white, the blues, the reds. So yeah, great little pack. It is retired now, but you may have received one of those or have one in your stash. And then I'm going to pull these little gems off with the tip of my scissors and place them wherever I want. I'm kind of placing them inside of where these little sparkly things are. So I'm going to place this pink one right here in that large one. And then I'm going to place my green one in my orange here. And I'm going to tuck it just a little bit under that banner if I can to make it a little more centered. But I still want it showing, so I'm not putting it all the way under. Just like that, like it's hanging out of the banner on this case. And this one I'm going to put up here. There's no right or wrong, guys. Again, don't sweat the small stuff. Just put it together and think, oh my gosh, that's an adorable, super simple card, ready to go out to someone to celebrate their special day. And then I'm also going to take my Balmy Blue one more time, if I can find it. Here it is. And I'm going to add that same sentiment to my envelope just so I don't have to come back in and do that later. Now, if you want to be really extra picky, and I shouldn't say picky, but if it's your personality to be a little more exact with things, you could place this banner on first and trim off the edges so it's really smooth on the edge. I'm not worried about that. Honestly, I'm just not worried about that kind of stuff. But I know some people are, and I want you to be happy with your card making. Also, I see I have a little bit of glue still stuck between these 2 banners here. So I'm going to take my rubber eraser. You can get these at any craft store. I think the Dollar Tree still carries them. And just come in here, and that'll pick up any of that excess glue that might have stayed on your banner between the little banner flaps. So every crafter needs to have one of those in their stash, if not many, many more. So this is card number 2, guys. That is it. Fun fold, centerfold card, super easy measurements. I'm gonna take these out of the way and bring back this. This little instruction sheet does have the actual measurements for how you score your paper for that base. So it's great to keep handy if you want to do a simple gate card. I love it. Just a super fun fold. Okay, card number 2 is done. This class likes to move right along, which makes me happy because I try to get it completely done well within an hour. I don't want to take too much of your time. These are clean and simple cards, and that is what I'm trying to make. So this is card number 3. Look at that. How fun is that, and how cute and simple. For this one in your card kit, and you could have gotten a couple different colors of this card. I just happened to have a kit and my first one the same color this time, but I think there were some blue ones also of a different design. So whatever it is, you're going to want to pick an ink that coordinates with the color of your card. So like on mine, it could be Melon Mambo, it could be Pretty in Pink, it could be Darling Duckling, it could be Real Red, whichever you want. In your kit, you're going to have a white base, a regular A2 base, but this one's going to go horizontal. You're going to have a piece of designer series paper. Now there is a design on the back that possibly you could use. I can't really use mine because it goes the other direction and it has Christmas trees, but I wanted the polka dots. But I think on the blue one, possibly the design on the back is useful too. So you can look at that, decide which side you like to have. This paper for these came from several different packets, so I don't even have the names of them. They were scraps I had, but they were all bright and colorful and perfect for birthdays. So you have a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. You should have a piece of coordinating cardstock, a layer to your designer series paper that is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. A piece of basic white that is 2 1/2 by 4 inches. 3 little gems that coordinate with your card, and then your envelope. And for this card, I am using 2 different sentiments. So I'm going to be using this huge happy birthday, and this comes from the Layered Thoughts stamp set, which is a favorite of mine, again, because I love these big sentiments and how they fill up a card and make it look so happy and festive. If you didn't have this one, there are a couple other options of large ones. There is the Happy Birthday from the set With You in Mind that we have right now, and that would also be great on this card, as well as the Happy Birthday from the Birthday Celebration set. You could use those 2 words together, and that would also be nice and large. Or you could use a smaller Happy Birthday, put your gems on and just leave it and be happy with it, or make another layer on there and pop it up. Lots of things you can do with this card, but there are several options for large sentiments. So we're just going to stamp that great big old large happy birthday to start with, right in the middle of this layer. Again, this cardstock layer is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Make sure I get that whole big image inked up. And then I'm going to just kind of center this on there and give it some nice firm pressure, because it is a large image. So the larger your image is, or the more detailed, you want to give it some good firm pressure. And there is our happy birthday. The other sentiment I'm using on here is Time to Celebrate. And this comes from the beautiful butterfly set. If you watch my videos, you've seen me use it over and over and over. I love this Time to Celebrate stamp. I don't know what it is about it. It just appeals to me so much. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to put that on the inside of my card. Up here. I think I'm going to put it to the side on this one, as well as putting it on my envelope. Let's see how I did my other envelope. Did I do it across? Yeah, I did it this way. So when you have a long sentiment that's going to go maybe over here where you're going to write your address, a lot of times I will put them vertically like that rather than horizontal. So that's what I'm going to do on here. We're going to come in with a Time to Celebrate and just put that vertically right there. How cool is that? Love it. Love the look of it. Love the sentiment. Very happy. Great for a birthday card. I'm going to get rid of my Real Red here because I am done with it for now. And let's put our little card together. Super simple layout, guys, but how fun would this be to send to someone to celebrate their birthday? We're just going to take our piece of designer series paper, put some seal in the corners. Once again, this is a very flat, lightweight paper, so you don't need to do any more than that if you don't want to. You can, of course, use your own adhesive, Tombow, or whatever works for you. I'm going to try to center it pretty well onto the front of my card. We're going to take our happy birthday that we stamped, or whatever you happen to stamp on yours if it wasn't happy birthday. And I'm going to layer this onto the colored layer of cardstock. Again, that might vary depending upon what color of DSP you had in your card kit. And then we're just going to pop this up on dimensionals. Super, super simple, but lots of fun. And guys, you know what? People do love to get cards. They do. It is so fun to go to the mailbox and see a card from someone rather than a bill or a piece of junk mail. There's very few people that still send handmade cards or even just written letters. So every time you do that, you are brightening someone's day, and it is well worth it. And this card would probably bring a smile to anyone's face that got it. So we're going to do happy birthday. Make sure I got my card opening the right way. And I'm going to come in here and center this to the best of my ability on camera here. Pretty good, I think, right there. And then you should have 3 little gems. They could be yellow, they could be red, they could be blue if it's with the blue Designer Series paper green. I had several different kinds, and I'm just placing them on here. These are retired gems. In fact, I think the gems came from a couple different packets also, so I don't have the names of those. They were just left over from some other kits I had, but they work. And there we go. There is our fun, super easy happy birthday card. So that is that one. I'm going to get my prototype out of the way, bring out the instruction sheet here if you want to take a screenshot real quickly. There it is. And again, I will post this in the comments in a little bit. Maybe not till later today, but at some point before midnight, I'm pretty sure. Okay, guys, that was card number 3. Now, if you placed a $50 qualifying order, you would have gotten those 3 card kits from me. If you placed a $75 order, you would have gotten those card kits plus a little 3D kit, which comes in the plastic like this. Now, if you placed a $100 order, you would have also received a half a pack of some embellishment, a retired embellishment, and that would have been right in here with your with your little 3D item kit. So check that. You should have gotten that if you placed 100. So here are the pieces for this little box we're going to make. And let me show you that one more time before we get going. This is a super simple little gift box. This one is the size you get if you make it with a 6x6 piece of Designer Series paper. If you want a larger one, go ahead and use 2 12x12 sheets, and you will have a larger, nicer size gift box maybe for what you need. I love these. They are just so fun to have on hand and to use, and this mushroom paper is stinking adorable. So this was our celebration paper. You know, I forgot to look. I thought maybe this was on the last chance list because I know they brought some celebration items in there, but I did not look at this one. Sorry about that, guys. It might be out there. You can check it out. It's called Toadstool Gardens, and I fell in love with it. I got several packs of it. I've been playing with it. You will probably see more projects coming with it because it is just so fun. And again, that was a retired celebration product. We're also going to use Melon Mambo stamp pad and the little For You sentiment. Now this For You also comes from the beautiful butterflies. It's right here. So it's that tiny little For You that we're going to add to our tiny gift box here. Now you could have gotten different designs. Some of you got this cute little mushroom paper. Some of you got this beautiful striped one. There might even have been a third design. I'm trying to think if I used 3. Maybe, possibly you got a third design. Whichever one you got is going to work. Also in your kit is a 1/2 inch by about 3 inch strip of basic white for your sentiment. You're going to have a Melon Mambo 2-inch circle that's punched out, and I punched out 1 7/8 inch circles from this piece of paper to get those cute little mushrooms that we're going to decorate this box with. So nothing but fun going on here, guys. These are just adorable. Now, one thing I did realize when I went to get my kits together to do this today is I don't remember if I pre-cut the flaps on yours or not. And I don't remember which direction I pre-cut the flaps on yours. So much for being on top of things. So what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how they're cut. And I'm going to show you the 2 different ways you can cut these to put it together. This is my favorite way, and hopefully this is what I did for you. But if not, you know, we'll figure it out. So when you're scoring your 2 pieces of 6 by 6 inch paper, you want to be sure you have a design that goes the right direction. Now this could have gone horizontal, but I wanted it vertical, but you want to be sure they're both the same. The little flap that flaps down at the top, you want to be sure when you fold it down that it still goes the right direction. So if that doesn't work, then you're going to need to choose a different designer series paper to work with on this one. Okay? So we have these 2 here. Each of these 6 by 6 pieces is scored at 1 inch down on the top side, 1.5 inch on each side, and 1.5 inch from the bottom to make this little box. They're both scored exactly the same. And then to put them together, I am going to take my bone folder and just crease down that top piece like that, and then use my bone folder to fold in all my other creases to make sure that they're a really nice sharp crease. I gently fold them when I put them in your kits, but I don't always take the full time to really crease them good with the bone folder. So that's something you can do right now. Now again, like I said, I don't know if I cut them both the same or both different. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to do another one, but I am going to tell you, either way, you're basically going to be folding your flaps in. So when you see how this comes together, whatever you happen to have, you're going to fold your flaps in kind of like mine are. So I apologize for not paying closer attention and making notes as to what I did. Every time I do it, it's a little different. It's whatever I feel like at that moment. So I'm going to fold that top one down, that 1 inch on this one also, and do the same thing. Come in with my bone folder now. And I am going to make sure all of those creases are nice and sharp. It's just going to help it come together better as I place it together. So for mine, I cut on that very bottom piece, I cut in to the to the vertical lines. I cut in horizontally to the 2 vertical lines from the side on one piece. And I cut in vertically up to the horizontal line on the other. That's my favorite way of doing it, and I hope that's how I did it for you. But if I didn't, again, I apologize. So what we're going to do is put this together like a box. So these 2 little flaps here are going to come up, and we're going to adhere them just like that, and I'll do that in a second. And then this one, I'm going to fold in the flaps like that, adhere them on the bottom, and stick it right inside of there. And then we're going to have our little box. So again, I hope that's how I did it. If I cut yours differently, you just want to fold them so they go together this way. If I did both of the other edges, then you're just going to fold them up like this on both sides and put it together. If I did both from the sides, it'll come together, guys, I'm sure. And if you have trouble, just let me know and I'll try to talk you through it. So what I'm going to do on here is, you can use Tombow glue for this because it gives you some wiggle room. But for this one, I'm just going to use my seal, and I'm going to put some on each of these 2 flaps on the bottom that I'm folding in. So these are coming in from the side. And again, Tombow would work for this. I might use Tombow on the other piece because that needs a little more wiggle room. I'm going to come in and fold up that flap just like that and adhere it. And doing the same thing on the other side, folding it up and adhering it. So now I have basically a half of a little gift box here. Okay? On this one, I am going to put my adhesive on these 2 little flaps and then adhere them underneath this one, like that, okay? So again, if yours is different, go ahead. I'm sure you can figure out how to put this together. It'll go together anyway. You're just not folding them in exactly in the same order or same way I'm doing it. So I'm going to come in here, move that over, adhere that up, come in here with this one, move that over and adhere that up. Okay, so now we have the other side of our box. This one has the little flaps showing on the bottom. So I want to put that inside of my other one and then adhere this whole thing. So here's where I do want a little bit of wiggle room. So I am going to use my Tombow glue on this. And I'm going to come in here and just on, this is the one that's fitting on the inside. I'm going to put Tombow all along that side, Tombow all along this side, and Tombow on the bottom, okay? And you do want to have glue pretty close to the closed side on the sides, because that's going to go in and you want that to adhere tight on the side of your box. And we're just going to open this up a little bit, slide this down in there, like that. And then you want to adhere it. So I'm pushing the bottom gently with my hand, pushing this in, pushing the sides, and using my fingers. And then after you have it pretty much in there where you want it, you're just going to take your bone folder and go in there and rub those sides to make sure you're getting a really good adherence on the Tombow glue. And then I do want these little flaps on the side to stick down. So I'm going to come in here again, and on the back of this corner right here, just put a little bit of my Tombow glue and hold it down. And then come over on the other side and on the back corner, add a little bit of Tombow glue and hold it down. And now we've made our little gift bag. Now when you're decorating these, I like to look at my box and see where my seams are. So I slid this piece inside of the other piece. So my front seams here are really nice and smooth. My back seams, you can see where the paper comes together. So it looks fine, but it's not quite as nice and smooth and lovely as this side. So I'm going to use this side for the front of my bag to decorate it, my little box here. We're just going to take our circle of Designer Series paper or whatever you happen to want to decorate yours with. And I'm going to lay it onto that Melon Mambo punched circle. I didn't do that perfectly centered. This is where Tombow glue comes in handy too. I'm not a big Tombow glue lover, mainly because I do what I just did here. I had Tombow glue on my plate and then I got it on my piece. But this rubber eraser does take that off. For certain things I do love it, but I tend to use my seal for most everything. And I see on this one I have a little bit of a ragged edge. It looks like my circle wasn't perfectly circled. I'm just going to take my snips and cut that off and round it. So hopefully yours were better than mine. And then this is going to get popped up onto the front of our box in just a minute. On here, I am going to stamp with Melon Mambo on my little strip over to the left-hand side, but leaving about a 1/4 inch or so, maybe a little more, past the words on the left hand for you. You could put anything. I made it long enough. You could put happy birthday and have it stick out further if you need to. But I just like for you because then I can use it for anything. Then I'm going to come in here on the end with my snips again and flag the little end of it. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, just leave it a rectangle. That's not going to hurt anything. And then I want to give this just a little bit of curvature. So I'm going to take my bone folder and on the end where my words are, I'm going to curve that down. And then I'm going to come back where that little flagged end is and curve that back up. Just to have that little bit of curvature on my words. The rest of this is going to get sealed. And I'm going to come in here with my little mushrooms here. And I'm going to have it coming down at an angle a little bit and place it coming right off of the bottom of my mushrooms like that for you. And then we're going to add this to the front of our little gift bag like this. So by me coming down at an angle a little more, it kept it onto the box more. If you went out straight from the side, it would just come over the side a little bit more. Either one's going to be okay. Okay, so we're going to take some dimensionals, and I'm going to put one dimensional right behind my words on where the curved part is like that. That'll help keep that curve on there a little bit. And then I'm going to put another dimensional here, and here, and here. 3 of them are good for a circle. I'm just putting them in these locations because it also anchors my little sentiment a little bit better then. So that's my reasoning behind that. I'm going to pull off the backing on all of those. And then come in here, find out where I want to lay it. And I want some of my top designs showing here. So I'm going to come down just a little bit like that. And then come through and stick down all my dimensionals. And there is our cute little For You box. Now, if you are having trouble putting it together, you can't figure out what to do with the flaps, feel free to send me an email or something and I will try to talk you through it better. Let me know how yours are cut if they're different than mine. And maybe I can just come on and show you individually how to do that, but I don't think you're going to have a problem with it because I've done it every which way and they always work. I just wish I'd have paid attention to what I did for yours. Okay guys, look at those. Look how cute they are. What an adorable little box. These would also be great to put on your table like for the holidays. You could do them in a Thanksgiving theme or a Christmas theme and then fill them with some treats for your guests, which would also be tons of fun. So here's the project we just made. Let me bring in the information on that so that you have all of that and what I used. And yeah, again, I will post this one too. So that is it, guys, all 4 of our projects. Let me bring the projects back in one at a time here, and you can see all 4 of them together from today. So here is our happy birthday and celebrate. I got lots going on over here, guys, so wait and bear with me while I move everything out of the way. Here is our little gatefold card that we made. Look how festive this all looks. How fun. And then our last one is our Big Smiles card. Lots and lots of fun going on today. I hope you liked these projects. Thank you for taking some time to be with me. If you did enjoy today's class, just be sure to order a qualifying order from me of $50 or more in the month of August, and then you will get the kit for September free. As always, I would love to be your creative coach and demonstrator. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments or by email at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. And I will see you all soon. Bye now.